Spurs win! Spurs win! Welcome back, Spurs fans, to the Hepler football channel. Today we're doing our post-match ponderings, where we discuss what we saw in the match, just quick little brief review, and we go through our good, bad, and ugly. So, Spurs got a win, big win, had to have it. That puts Spurs in 5th place, and that gives us an opportunity to continue to talk about top 5. The downside to that is there's 3 teams that still have a game in hand on us that are fighting for that top 5 spot with us: West Ham, Liverpool, and Everton. Everton did lose this weekend to Aston Villa, though, so that does bode well and give us a little more cushion against Everton. The Man U match got canceled with Liverpool this past weekend, so we don't know when that's going to be made up, but West Ham plays on Monday, so there's definitely some things that can still shake out through the rest of this match week as far as table standings for Spurs. But hey, good to be up in 5th for a day or so, depending on how things shake out the rest of the weekend. All right, we're going to ponder upon the good, the bad, and the ugly. And if you've never been a part of this before, click the subscribe button. If you have been a part of this and haven't hit the subscribe button, hit that subscribe button. Join the little community we're developing here, and let's have a good conversations in the comments down below. And if you enjoy the video, hit the like button. But what we do here is we go through and we give our things that we thought were good, which is obviously good things that we thought were bad, which is kind of middle of the road, and then the ugly. So the ugly is always the very absolute worst, just like what was going on there. So with that being said, let me know what you all think was the good that happened in this match. I'm going to go through mine. You can let me know if you agree, disagree, or if I'm off base, or if you saw something else that I didn't. Let me know. We'll start off with the good here. And the first good I have, obviously, is Bell, who's got to be the man of the match. Hat trick. I know the team as a whole kind of got a sluggish start. Even Bell was a little off with his passing in the first 20 minutes or so, but once we got that first goal, and after about a first half an hour of the match, things kind of changed. Bell was playing a lot better. He was making good moves through the defense and causing a lot of issues for them. And so, nice hat trick. Nice to see him get a good match under his belt against the worst probably defensive team in the league. So, it builds a little confidence. But yeah, definitely one of the great things that happened in this match was Bell. Getting him off early enough to give him a little rest. He doesn't need to go 90 minutes unless it's necessary. And by the time he was pulled off, we had the match well in hand. And so no reason to continue leaving him out there, risking potential injury and whatnot. The second good thing I have is Aurier. Don't get to talk a lot about Aurier in a positive light, so it's nice to be able to do that for him. 2 assists today. One thing with Sheffield United, they didn't push up very much at all. They sat back. They allowed us to come at them. So Aurier really didn't have any responsibilities with moving back and tracking back. I mean, most of the time, if Sheffield United was pushing, it was with 1 or 2 people, and that was it. And between Dyer and Toby and Højbjerg, it was pretty well covered most of the match. So there was really no pressure on Aurier to be defensively sound, in my mind. So, and that's usually where his failings come, along with he can tend to, in his crosses, find the opposition more often than our guys. But that was not the case in this match. Made a couple of nice passes, got some assists. Probably one of his better matches in quite a while. But again, like I said, it has a lot to do with the fact, I think, that Sheffield United was not pushing up and attacking, did not require Aurier to be putting his defensive foot forward. So, but good job, Aurier. Way to get the assists. Son had a solid game. He looks like he's kind of came out of his funk the way he's been in the last few matches. I mean, he had one goal called back. He was offsides, okay, get it, but great pass. That was from Toby, long ball from Toby. And great run and presence by Song to go ahead and put that ball away. Even though it didn't count, you got to give him credit for the movement, the finishing, just the whole thing that led to that. And you just take your chances at that. You know, it wasn't by much. It was a fraction that he was off. So, you know, you can't really fault him for that in my mind. And then he got his actual goal, and which was a great goal. Beautiful bend right around the defenders and the goalie into the far corner. And nice goal. Very nice goal. Glad to see Song get back off the schneid with the goal. And he also had an assist. So he had one of the assists with for Bell too. So, you know, he was very engaged and involved in this match here. And then my final good thing I have is that we just kept the hammer down. We didn't sit back after we got one goal or two goals. We kept pushing. We kept pushing into them. Now, part of that is, I think, who we were playing, Sheffield. Even when they tried to change up things and be a little more offensive and be a little more attacking, it didn't work well for them. They just didn't have the personnel to do it. But I'm glad that we kept pushing and pushing and pushing and not just sitting on one or two goals, which that's when we get in trouble, is when we just sit back on one or two goals. Whether it's the manager saying it, the players doing it, whatever. The fact is we kept the hammer down on them and we finished this match off. All right. So now we're going to go into the bad. Remember, bad's kind of middle of the road, a little above average, a little below average type of stuff. Not absolutely terrible. That's the ugly. So let me know what you think is the bad things that you saw. Let me know what you think about what I think, because I'm going to tell you here in just a second. And let's have a conversation about it. So let's start off with the lineup. The lineup I was not very excited about, with Dyer, Aurier, and Dele Alli in the lineup. That was not what I was looking for coming into this match. Dyer almost right out the gate in the first 5-6 minutes gave away a goal to them. He passed it to their forward instead of our guy at the half line, and they had a breakaway. Fortunately, they couldn't figure out what to do with it, and Dyer got off the hook on that one. We could have been down 1-0 right out the gate in the first 5-6 minutes. And that just to me speaks to his decision making and the thought processes going on in his head up there, and that it's something that's not good for us to have in there on a regular basis, especially when you start playing more quality competition. We got 4 matches left. We can't have those kinds of mistakes, and we're going to be playing a lot better opponents. I mean, we played a championship side against Sheffield United. They're already relegated. They're going down. So the quality is not there. And we can't have those kinds of mistakes. And also, Dele Alli, not who I think we should have in the central midfield at this point in time. He has not shown anything up to this point to say he deserves to be in there, honestly. I mean, I know Ndombele's had a little bit of a dry spell with some, but even his dry spell has been better than what Dele Alli's shown over the past 5-6 months this season. So I don't think Dele should be in. And I know I said Aurier in my predicted Ponderings that didn't want Aurier in there. I still think we need, especially going forward against the teams we're going to be facing in these last 4 matches, we need to think about having a solid defense. And Aurier and Dyer do not provide a solid defense for us. We get away with it this time. Like I said, Sheffield just did not attack. They did not push up. And Aurier had nothing to worry about with tracking back and defending. So that's just the fortunate thing for us. And maybe that's, the setup to get by this match and look differently at the next upcoming matches. But if we see this again, we're going to be in trouble against some of these tougher teams. And my next bad is Dele Alli. For the first 20, 30 minutes, he was just eating up everyone's space. He was on top of players. He was all up in their, he's basically in their hip pocket half the time. He took the ball away from Bell at one point in time. He just looked like a chicken running around with his head cut off out there for a good portion of this match. I don't think he provided any quality, any substantive, positive action. There were just a couple plays here and there, but his negatives far outweighed what couple of positive things he did on the pitch. We could have got that easily from Mora, Lo Celso, and Domblé, far and above what Dele Alli did. It just was not good. And then, he looked very lost. He was out of position often. I just didn't feel like he provided a great deal for us in link-up play or moving forward. Like I said, he just didn't do it. He still looks like the same Dele that's played this season and just isn't what he was. Everyone expects him to be what he was 3 years ago. And we're talking 3 years ago. This is long in the past. He's not that anymore. Whether it's a physical thing, a mental thing, whatever it is, he's lost it. And he's not being able to find it back through Poch, through Marino. It's not just Marino that was the issue. He was having issues under Poch too. And he's continuing, right, if you look at this one, now he's continuing to have issues. It's not, he's freed up, he's out from underneath Mourinho's thumb, da-da-da-da-da. The kid is what the kid is at this point. His success was a short-lived success. It was only about 1.5 years. He's had a longer run of lackluster form than he ever had as a successful form. So that's one of my bads. And my last bad, I'm going to talk about Lo Celso. I do think Lo Celso is a much better option and player than Dele Alli. I like what Lo Celso brings when we have Lo Celso and Domblé and Højbjerg in the squad a lot of times, especially in a 3 midfielder setup. But he was off. And it can be said about most of the players for the first 20, 30 minutes. The passing was atrocious. Lo Celso was having trouble with passing. I know we were trying things a number of times, but not just with Lo Celso, but other players. The ball never had an opportunity. Even though we were trying something, there was no opportunity for anyone to do something with it. It was such a poor attempt. So it was almost like he didn't wake up until he got his head stomped partway through the first half. And that's when he kind of woke up and was like, hey, let's get in this match. And then he started doing a little bit better with link-up play and things like that. But so he kind of came out of his funk, but he was in a funk for a good 20 minutes or so. And I felt like Lo Celso, this was not one of his better matches. Now, the one thing the guy does always do is he'll give you effort. He gets after it. Quality player as far as effort, and he makes good tackles and stuff. And he's not afraid to help the team defensively and offensively. So he plays both ends of the spectrum. All right, that was my bad. And now we're going into the ugly. Remember, ugly is just like, oh my gosh, this was just terrible. And I have no ugly. Yay. All right. And so with that being said, this match was really pretty much in hand. I mean, in the first half, we pretty much dominated. We have 74% of the possession. Our passer rating, as bad as it was, our passing for the first 20, 30 minutes, we still were up around 92% for passing. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that we still do a lot of sideways and backwards passing, which pads our stats, I think, in my mind. We only allowed them 4 shots, not a single one on goal in the first half. So, the first half we completely dominated. Things were about the same in the second half. I mean, pretty much for the entire match, we held possession of anywhere from 2/3 to 75% of the time. So, and we pushed and had more opportunities and put away some goals in the second half. They actually had 1 shot on goal in the second half, 4 shots total, but beyond that, they didn't do a lot. We did concede a lot of corners there in the last 15 minutes or so. So they had 0 corners in the first half. They ended up with 6, which is exactly what we had. So there, after we kind of got that 3rd, 4th goal, we kind of relaxed a bit, and which is understandable a little bit. But to give up that much and allow that much pressure in that short period of time, that's where we usually fail. That's a failing of us, and that's not a good sign to see that against a team that we should be able to easily dominate possession. But that's my thoughts on the match. We do have 4 matches remaining. Next one coming up is Leeds. You never know what you get with Leeds. They can either show up and score 5 or 6 goals, or they may not score 1 or 2, maybe 0 to 1 goals. You never know. So it's not a gimme, I will say. They've played pretty solid. They're going to stay in the Premier League for next season, so they're not getting relegated back out. And then we have Wolverhampton, Aston Villa, and Leicester. None of them are gimme matches, I'd say, right now for the Spurs. Are they winnable? All but maybe Leicester, I'd say yes. Leicester, everyone always says that they have this big failing at the end of the season. Well, they're still playing really well. I don't see them dropping a lot of points here in the last 4 or 5 matches of the season. But let me know what you all think. If you haven't subscribe. Please support the channel. Definitely appreciate it. Helps me to keep going and know what you all like and want. Leave those comments down below. And come on, you Spurs.